Repent, for tomorrow you die. That is the battle cry of the Dark Angels Legion Space Marines chapter from Warhammer 40,000. And welcome once again to another action figure review by Tycondrius. And today we're looking at none other than the Dark Angels Intercessor Assault Sergeant. Assault Intercessor Sergeant from McFarlane Toys. So if we just move the figure out of the way for a second, we'll have a quick look at the box. So the box comes in one of the standard 40k Warhammer 40,000 boxes that all the 40k stuff has come in so far. You have all the kind of grimdark stuff on the side. You have an image of the figure on the back. Now, unlike previous waves, they used to show the other figures in the wave on the bottom of the box, but they just seem to have omitted that in more recent waves. So this is part of the wave that comes with the Chaos Space Marine. So there is the Dark Angel Intercessor or Assault Intercessor Sergeant. There is a Black Legion painted Chaos Space Marine, and then there is two artist-proof figures, which is an artist-proof Dark Angel, and instead of having the assault gear, he has the, I think he has a bolter, or the bolt rifle, and the artist-proof version of the Chaos Space Marine has two assault weapons, if I remember correctly, as opposed to a bolter and a knife, which is what he comes with. So for loose parts in the box, again, like most Space Marines, his backpack is a separate piece. It just plugs in. He comes with the display stand. As you can see on my one, it's actually still sitting in the back. This is the one that came with the Ultramarine Reaver, but it's the exact same thing. They're all the same, these spaces. They don't change them up. Comes with the Astartes. I know I'm probably butchering the name. The Space Marine Chainsword, or Astartes, is how they're pronounced. And instead of the bolt pistol, which came with the standard release Ultramarine one, he comes with the plasma pistol, which is what actually came with the Blood Angel Lieutenant, the gold label Blood Angel Lieutenant. So there's some new bits, some old bits, and mostly reused bits. So if I bring the box out of the way, we'll just have a quick look at the Marine himself. So what denotes his lineage to the Dark Angels chapter is the Dark Angels Aquila on the chest here. He has that small kind of, I can't remember what they're called. They're like a something, they're called a shield, but they're not a full shield. They're just like a shoulder pauldron shield. Just usually knights would have them to deflect lance blows in medieval times. I don't think this is going to deflect anything, considering the rest of the guy is completely armored in armor that would probably deflect most weaponry. He does have a kind of weird shoulder pad with this kind of extended piece. It doesn't go all the way around like on some of the other Marines. It just has like it's a half extra armor plate, and then you have this Dark Angel symbol. He does have the same cross symbol on his arm, but it's unpainted on this version. And he has a extra articulation, or not extra articulation, extra piece of a book, whereas I believe the Blood Angel had like the Blood Angel kind of teardrop, and I think the Sergeant had something else. I think it was a scroll case. Now, it would have been nice to see some painted paint apps on this. It would have been cool to have it in like red with this kind of bone color for the and bone color in gold for the wing symbol. You can see it's the same wing symbol that's on here. It's just like a half version of it on the one side of the book. He does have the wings on the helmet. They are kind of more gummy piece, so just beware that they could be misshapen when you get them out of the box. But the helmet is exactly the same as the previous one, I think. Actually, let me correct myself. It is actually, get him to stand up. I might as well just bring in the comparison. It's actually a different helmet to the previous version. This one actually has double piping instead of a single piping bit, but as you can see, it's mostly reuse of parts, even down to the gauntlet piece here on the right hand, or on the left hand. You have the painted version on the Ultramarine one. As you can see, this Ultramarine still has a raised shoulder pad part, but not as significant as the one on the Dark Angel. You have exact same paint apps pretty much on the back. The Ultramarine has an extra piece with the faction logo and the Sergeant emblem. This one has the Dark Angel logo, or sorry, the Dark Angel numeral, and they're kind of faction, whereas this is an assault faction for Ultramarines. The kind of side of the crossbones, or not crossbones, but the crosshairs kind of type thing, or the cross diagonals. This is the version for the Dark Angels. Now, I will say the Dark Angel one figure is a lot lighter than what I thought they would go with. I was actually customizing my own one, and unfortunately I don't know where I put the parts from at the moment, but my one was turning out a little way darker than this, so I'm not sure if I will continue mine, and kind of when I have them fully painted, I will get them side by side. With this guy retains all the same range of movement that the standard triggers have. You have double jointed elbows, you have the hinge on the wrist, you have a grip hand for the left hand. Now some Marines, like my Artist Proof, if I bring them in, that I painted up my Artist Proof many moons ago, or many months ago, in the Ultramarine faction symbol. And as you can see, he actually has a outstretched palm hand. It would be really cool if McFarlane actually added this to both figures, as in, like, if it give you an option of both hands in the box, so you can just mix and match as you see fit. So have the outstretched palm when you need it, or have the actual the flat palm for if you want to do dual-handed weapon poses. So I'll bring in another Marine. This is the Reaver, Revier, I think they're called, Reaver. So you can see the differences between this guy. Now I have him with, I borrowed some gear off the Raven Guard assault, or Raven Guard Marine. The Raven Guard should have these weapons. This is the bolt pistol carrying with the Raven Guard and the assault weapons. So this is the bolter, or the bolt rifle, that comes with the Reaver. So just in case you're wondering why he's not armed with what he normally is armed with, I was just mixing and matching around with stuff. But you can see the difference in the blues for the, this is the one I customized, and I pretty much just, for the base figure, you can just see here on the, where the hand is, you can see the grey that the figure came in, and this was just sprayed with McFarlane blue, which matches perfectly to this, whereas this should be the same color as these guys, but unfortunately it isn't. And I'm getting sidetracked because I'm not meant to be talking about the Reavers. I'm supposed to be talking about the Dark Angels. But for the most part, he is exactly the same as the other Space Marines, just done in Dark Angels livery with a few added details. And in that extra helmet. Now, I'm not sure if this helmet has been used before. It may be the same helmet they used for the Blood Angel Lieutenant. Very possible. I think that one had the dual piping as well. And the other Blood Angels were the ones with the Hellblaster guns, and they actually had like a extra cybernetic eyepiece, so they were definitely different to this. But it has all the same articulation, so feet can bend forward, the dual jointed knees, legs can only split that much, forward kick, back kick, arms can rotate and kind of spring out. As I said, the double jointed elbow, the waist at both the bottom of the waist and the upper diaphragm, so you get good range of movement on that. And the head is on that weird kind of double hinge, so there's like a plate that moves, and then the helmet itself moves itself. So overall, not bad figure. I won't spend too much longer on this guy. He's pretty much, as I said, the same as most Space Marines. So if you have one Space Marine, you have pretty much all of them, but it just depends on faction. If you're waiting for a dark angel, this guy's pretty cool. I do kind of hope, I really wish McFarlane, because just looking at Joy Toy went way in with all their 40k stuff. McFarlane seems to be just tipping away slowly at it. Now they are releasing more and more figures, are guaranteed, but the Marines, if they had gone a whole hog with the Marines and did the same Marine, and not so much the same Marine, but the Marines in different chapters for different units, as in like the intercessors come in both assault and in tactical format. If they had done painted versions of the tactical ones, which is the guy with the bolt rifle, the only ones I know of that come with the bolt rifle that is not painted are the artist proofs. If they did tactical versions of these guys that were painted, they probably would sell a hell of a lot better. Assault ones are pretty limited. This guy is a sergeant. If they did basic Marines as a kind of multi-buy or army builder set, those would probably fly off the shelf faster than the kind of sergeants. Sergeants are cool, but they're like generally a unique singular model, whereas the troopers you can army build to your heart's content. That's the one good thing about the Reavers. The model that it's based on, I think, is just a general troop builder, and the same with the Chaos Spacemen. You can army build most of those and paint up the different iconography differently, so they do look like different guys. So it is a shame that they didn't go all out on them, but overall it's a good representation of a Dark Angel. I just wish they did kind of standard tactical Dark Angels, and at some point I would love to see ones with the full veteran gear with the robes. I know it's probably hard to pull off in this scale. Joy Toy seems to have pulled it off in their scaling, but like stuff like the Black Templars with their full robes, like Sword Brethren, stuff like that would be super cool to see. So there you go, guys. I know I probably waffled on a good bit, but this is the Dark Angel. He's a cool figure. He's a pretty good buy if you're thinking of getting one. I know most people missed out on the Ultramarine Intercessor, and he kind of goes, depending on where you find him, he goes for mixed prices. He can be way over what he's normally worth, or he can be just around a little bit over, depends on where you buy them. But overall, it's a really good figure, and I'll end this here. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.